Today we are talking about one of the most historical battles fought in the subcontinent, and that is called Battle of Nowshera. That was fought on 14th of March 1823 between the forces of Maharaja Ranjit Singh and Pashtuns unification or forces which were led by Azam Khan and Sayyid Akbar Shah Abu. The battle was fought on the banks of Kabul River near modern day Nowshera, and at that time it was called as Khairabad, as it was named by Maharaja Ranjit Singh uh, afterwards. The battle was decisive as it sealed the fate of Duranis and Barakzais from India. It stopped them and their advances and their invasions from the northwestern frontiers, and it became safer and safer. The battle also seemed and became one of the last battles of Maharaja Ranjit Singh because afterwards he only consolidated for some time, and after the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, his empire also crumbled under the feet and to the feet of East India Company, which later turned into the British Raj in 1857, and that's all. That's the story of the empire of the Punjab. It is said and it is often quoted that in a millennium, Maharaja Ranjit Singh was the only person who rose from the plains and invaded the mountains and even threatened to invade Kabul as well, the capital of Duranis and Barakzais. So this is, in a way, a very historical battle. And let's talk about on 13th of March 1823, troops started gathering there. Maharaja Ranjit Singh had already stationed there quite nearby, while the forces led by Sayyid Akbar Shah, which comprised of Khatak and Yusufzai tribes, stationed nearby on the hills of which is called at Pir Sabak Hill. On 14th of March, they fought bravely, and at the first casualties, we saw that of Akali Pula Singh on the sides of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, who fought very bravely and caused a lot of damage before succumbing to the invasions and combats by the Pashtun forces. Interestingly, the man who was supposed to lead the Pashtuns, Azam Khan Barakzai, the governor, was stationed on the other side of the river, and he did not cross the river to participate in the battle. He had with him more than 10,000 of troops, and they were more qualified and more trained. But interestingly and ironically, it is still not found why he did not like to cross the river and fight with the Sikh forces against the Sikh forces. So the fight ended at the dusk as most of the Pashtuns had disappeared in the shadow and in the darkness, and they had to incur a lot of loss, like more than 5,000 Pashtuns had died in the battlefield, whereas on the losses on the part of Sikh forces was around 2,000. So, interestingly, the day ended with the victory of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, who himself fought in the battlefield and who had with him Gorkhas as well, the Nepalis, the mercenaries who were also fighting. As an impact of this fight, it was quite easy for Maharaja Ranjit Singh to proceed towards Peshawar Valley, and ultimately he captured Peshawar Valley later on in 1832. And from then onward, we see that after 800 years, that Peshawar was not occupied and ruled by Muslims, rather by non-Muslim Sikhs, and they continued to rule there for more than 10 years because the first few years it was Hari Singh Nalwa who was on the helm of affairs in Peshawar, and then General Avitable became the governor of Peshawar, and he remained there until 1843. And afterwards, we do not see any other person of worth mentioning and stationed in Peshawar. So this was something very interesting, because after a few years the Sikh kingdom also perished, as it was annexed by the East India Company, who started its own rule from 1849 onwards in Punjab, and the dominions occupied by Maharaja Ranjit Singh became directly under control of the British East India Company. And this East India Company later on, after the War of Independence in 1857, was abolished, and it was replaced by the British Raj and the Viceroys, who later on, until 1947, ruled over the subcontinent. And in 1947, the independence was declared for these dominions, and Pakistan and India came into existence. And this is the story of this battle of Nowshera, which is one of the very historical battles. Although there were battles later on as well, which were like the Battle of Peshawar, the second Battle of Peshawar in 1832, and then there was the Battle of Jamrod, quite near the Pak-Afghan border, which was fought in 1837. And in the Battle of Jamrod, Hari Singh Nalwa also lost his life, but he and his companions resisted the invasions from the Barakzai, the last invasion, last ditch effort of the Barakzai to regain control of Peshawar and Jabrod failed and ended in failure. This is all from my side. If you want to read further, so you should read the History of Pathans by Anur Rashid, and then you can also study History of Sikhs by Khushwant Singh to understand more and more about Ranjit Singh and his regime and his battles. Thank you for watching.